bed. You going to your auntie's?
I don't want to go to my auntie's.
You're only going to be there a few hours.
No, I don't want to go there because my cousin always messes with me.
Tell his mama.
Hi, this is Lejeune, Mind, Health, and Wellness with Lejeune. Today, I would like to welcome Leigh Matheson. He is a neuropath and the founder of Magictree Superfoods. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on. Good to
Can
be
you
here.
give a background on yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I guess, my journey started a bit alternative to what you probably typically see in terms of the natural healing space. But yeah, I was kind of big on exercise, but never really cared too much about nutrition and health, or diet, I should say. And then so I kind of practiced karate my whole life, from kind of 6 to 18. So yeah, always big on exercise. And then when I quit that at 18, kind of just, my diet at uni was not great, kind of cheesecake and custard for breakfast. And then, when I got back home after university, my dad gave me some moringa seeds to try, and said they boost health, or they boost your energy. So I was kind of a bit, I just said, okay, cool, I'll try them. And then I noticed that I didn't actually have to eat breakfast anymore. And at the time, I was trying to do intermittent fasting, so it was really, really helpful for that as well. And then I was just flying through my morning workouts, and I thought, I was looking to start a business at the time. So I thought, okay, let's try and give these moringa seeds away for free, see if people like them. And then that was kind of what kickstarted my kind of natural healing journey, you could say. And it's lived through the customers that we've had along the way. So from that point, giving it away for free, that led to conversations with people who had been through kind of amazing journeys, overcoming brain aneurysms and having to learn how to speak again through natural techniques, speaking to 70-year-olds that were doing 100 press ups a day just from eating certain seeds and following natural practices. So that kind of led me to get more interested into the broader health realm, research other supplements, research other herbs, pursued a naturopath qualification in that time as well. And then we've been able to expand the product range out from there. And now we've got 9 different herbs that we stock. So it's kind of been 3 years of learning myself, and the business has learned through that as well, to be able to help lots of different people, which is the best part and most rewarding part.
So for you, making that transition from an unhealthy diet to going into saying, I want to invest in my health and my wellness and my overall physical well-being with natural herbs, that's not an easy thing for people, because it's that struggle of, I love sugar, I love salt, I love eating whatever I want. For you making that transition at such a young age, what was the thought process for you to say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore?
Yeah, interesting question. I think there's lots of different parts to it. I think in terms of the kind of salt cravings, sugar cravings that we all have, I think the great thing is it doesn't actually take that long to kick those. Because I used to, like I say, cheesecake and custard for breakfast. All I drank at uni was fruit juice by the glass, no water in my house. But now, if I try to drink a glass of juice, I get 2 sips in and I'm like, too sweet, can't do it. And I can't remember what book it was, but I think it was How Not to Die, where I first read it. But your kind of your palate or your cravings for sugar dies after 2 weeks if you stop eating it or lower it. So that one's actually quite easy to do if you can just go 2 weeks without, and it's not no sugar, but just don't drink Coke, don't drink juice, don't add sweet chili sauce to your food, don't add ketchup. So you're getting rid of a lot of the added sugar. And then when you try and go back to it, it tastes off. The salt, that one's a bit harder to kick. But yeah, through time, just making conscious decisions and understanding where you are making concessions and where it is a treat and where it isn't a treat. I think when you're too kind of binary and restricted with the diet, that's when it gets hard to keep. But when you're just making conscious decisions about making better decisions, I think it's a lot easier to transition to a better diet. And then in terms of the natural herbs, I think, unfortunately, and what I've learned kind of from running the business the last 3 years and seeing so many people go through this, there's kind of two entry points that most people discover natural herbs, and it's either where the health system has failed them and they've got nowhere else to turn, and it's a kind of a last chance, which is obviously what you don't want. And then the other end is where you're kind of big in biohacking, looking for that extra 1%, and then you're looking for how can I get that, and you'll find those people, which is obviously the better end of the two. But for me, I was kind of somewhere in between, where I wasn't kind of hyper focused on performance at that time because I'd given up the karate. Thankfully, I wasn't kind of needing in chronic condition with NHS support. So mine was a more kind of organic journey of discovery through other people, like I said before. So yeah, I have a different perspective on it, and I suppose the key takeaway is where I think a lot of the health information that's put out there on social media and from people you talk to, it's all very binary, it's all very isms based. But I would just say the more knowledge you have about what you are consuming and what you're putting into your body, the more conscious decisions you can make, and you can make more knowledgeable concessions and knowledgeable cheat days, and not be too harsh on yourself effectively.
I like that you said that. So for you, how did your body feel making that transition? Because I know when we are eating bad, we're tired, we're sluggish, we're moody, because it does affect our mental and physical and emotional health when we're not eating healthier things, stuff packed with sugar and salt, it and grease and fat. It tends to, take a toll on our overall health. For you, when you made that transition to herbs, how was your energy level? How did you feel?
Yeah, so like I said before, with the moringa seeds, that was I could stop eating breakfast, had energy up till 3 o'clock. It was 3-4 o'clock. It was great. Each herb that we bring into the store, I try them all myself, and me and my girlfriend with the test dummies. And yeah, each herb has a different benefit. So if we talk about ashwagandha, for example, so as soon as I take that, it's an immediate stress relief. So running a business, it's obviously very stressful. So I would use that as like an instant take the edge off kind of herb. If we're talking about shilajit, that's it's a herbo mineral resin from the Himalayas, and it contains 84 different minerals. So the benefits people tend to feel is based on the mineral deficiencies that you have in your diet. So I like to use that as a kind of detector of what am I lacking. So sometimes I'll take shilajit and I'll feel more energy. Sometimes I'll take shilajit and feel less brain fog. Sometimes I'll take it and sleep better. And that's kind of an indicator of, okay, if I'm sleeping poorly, I probably need to get my vitamin D up. If I'm feeling a bit tired after I take it, or less tired after I take it, I probably need to get more iron in. So I use it as kind of a sense check on that. But I say the most important thing, or the most valuable thing I've probably had from going on that natural herb journey, is when you do that, and when you're investing money, time, effort into researching herbs and taking them, and they take a bit longer to make than just popping a pill. So it's making a tea, it's blending it, it's so it's a much more conscious process. And when you do that, I find you develop that mind-body connection so much more. And if you've just spent 10 minutes making some sea moss gel and taking a spoonful and feeling good, you're so much less likely to just go eat a packet of crisps straight after. So having that conscious mind-body connection allows you to live a much more, I don't want to say healthy because that's an umbrella term, but conscious lifestyle, I would say.
And it does, make you more mindful of what you're putting in your body. I saw a post that you posted. I don't know if it was today, but I saw it today talking about oysters. Oh, and if you can kind of go talk about that, because I don't think we really realize or understand the toxins that are in the foods that we're putting in our bodies, because we're thinking we're doing so well we're eating it healthy, but the process that different foods go through, especially meats and seafood. So can you kind of discuss that?
Yeah, so just to touch on that point, there's definitely this misconception or caveat that fish is just generally healthy, just healthier as a blanket term than meat, and seafood is healthier than red meat. And it definitely depends on the quality of the meat, it depends on the quality of the seafood, and it depends on when we say healthy, that's such an umbrella term. What are you actually trying to avoid in your diet? So if it's heavy metals, fish is a lot worse than meat. If it's But then if it's how the meat is broken down by your cells and the uric acid that's produced, then yes, meat is worse. So breaking that distinction down to what are you actually suffering from, what are you actually looking to avoid is an important there. But with the post, yeah, so just to describe it a little bit, it's a picture of seawater in one jar, and then another picture of seawater in another jar, but there's oysters in the second jar. And the first jar is sandy, cloudy, brown, dirty, and the second jar is pretty much clear. And as you saw the post on Nat Geo, but the point of it is to say that oysters are like filters in the ocean, and they suck out all the toxins and some nutrients, but the toxic nutrients or heavy metals, minerals in the ocean. And the oysters are filtering those out, so obviously staying within the oyster. So when you then eat the oyster, you're just getting a concentrated hit of the toxins that have been filtered out of the sea. So it was, the post was an open question: just would you eat oysters knowing this? And it's not to say if you eat one oyster you're going to keel over and die, but it's to just make a more conscious decision and have that knowledge of that. I didn't realize that. Most people don't know that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Because I don't eat oysters because it just looks slimy and gross to me. But I know a lot of people who do. And just, knowing the process of that and how much restaurants charge for
Premium
this.
item.
Yeah. This is definitely a premium item. Same thing with shrimp. I do eat shrimp, and occasionally I'll have lobster, but they're considered the bottom feeders, and they're so expensive. So when you saw that, what came to mind for you?
Yeah, I think we've all kind of been told that shrimp is pigs of the ocean, and you kind of brush it off and say, like I say, bottom feeders, and you're like, yeah, but so for me, like I eat shrimp. I try and limit it, but I'll be lying if I say I never ate it. So yeah, I mean, I think if you look too closely into any food, unless it's kind of fruit or vegetables, but then even then there's the whole, is it seedless fruit versus seeded fruits? Has it been imported? What's the fertilizers? If it's vegetables, there's so much diverging opinions in everything you eat. So, if you always look to the worst of everything, you wouldn't eat anything. So I think it's just doing your research, understanding what the pros and cons are to every food, because unless it's fruit, there is a pro and con to every food, and then just making your decisions there.
So when people contact you, what are they usually looking to heal?
So I'd say the most common thing that comes to us would be fatigue, chronic fatigue, brain fog. We get a lot of autoimmune issues as well, menopausal issues, sleep's another big one. And a lot of the times it's not just have this herb and it will sort you right out, because it's a holistic approach that we take. So it's looking at the diet, it's looking at the lifestyle, it's looking at where are your nutritional deficiencies, and then the herbs are ultimately you don't want to be taking herbs, you don't want to be taking any supplements. Ideally you have a diet that just gives you all the nutrients and minerals and antioxidants that you need, but that's very difficult in especially in the US, and very difficult anywhere in the world. So what the supplements or the herbs are, they're kind of a kickstarter to say, okay, cool, if I'm fatigued and can't fix my diet, I take some shilajit, I take some ashwagandha, that gives me the energy boost, and then I'm trying to fix my diet in the interim so that I'm not having to take the supplement in a year's time. So yeah, the idea isn't for it to be a permanent solution. It's a kind of a support to take a holistic approach to figure out what areas of your life need refining, and then the herbs support that process, if that makes sense. Which
And
sounds weird to say as a seller of herbs, but that's kind of the holistic healing that we try to.
It definitely makes sense, because I think we pretty much all the time we want a quick fix. We want something to fix the problem instead of really investing in a lifestyle change that can overall fix what's going on. It's same as, weight loss. We want a pill or surgery that can fix that for us, but we don't want to do the work that can change that for us. So if you can kind of talk about the process that when people come to either your site, what's the process? Because I know you said you have to decide or find out what's the right herbs for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can probably give kind of 2 examples of a regular case and a more, I suppose, extreme case. But yeah, in a regular case, it would be someone says, I've got chronic fatigue, or I've got depression. So the way I like to structure my support, it would always be, okay, a bit of a fact find. So when did it start? What's the lifestyle factors that might have caused it? What's the current diet like? So once I've got a bit of got an idea there, then it would be, what are the dietary changes? Because those are what's the easiest things that we can change? So, for example, if it's I've got this really stressful hobby, and that's a poor example, but I've got this really stressful hobby, then it might be, okay, maybe cut down how often you do that hobby. So where are the easy fixes, lifestyle changes or routine changes that we can make? And then it would be from a diet perspective. So if it was, I'm suffering from anxiety or depression or any brain related issue, really, it would be berries, or berries, mangoes, cucumbers. You want to fix the mineral deficiencies that are probably causing that, and you also want to detox the heavy metals in your brain that may be causing that as well. So berries are the first and best thing that you can be doing from a fruit and diet perspective. Fairly inexpensive solution. If it's, say, a chronic inflammation issue, then we look into inexpensive herbs like turmeric, ginger, really good for inflammation. So, and then after that, then we'd say, okay, if we're looking at the herbs, then shilajit would be a great one for energy boost, because it helps enhance your mitochondrial function, which is essentially the battery packs inside each of your cells. So that way, we feel that the person can then, let's say they can't afford the shilajit, then at least you can or for the brain health solution, let's say you can't afford lion's mane. Okay, fine. Well, you can hopefully afford the berries. If you can't afford the berries, okay, you can stop doing the thing that might be causing the issue in the first place. So at various different stages of the issue, hopefully we can make some impact there. And then a more extreme example, I guess, is unfortunately, as I said before, there's quite a lot of people that have been failed by the healthcare system. So a couple of weeks ago, it was a really hard one to hear, where there's a 27-year-old. Unfortunately, she has AML leukemia. She's been mistreated by the healthcare system, where they didn't sanitize the drip that they put in her, unfortunately. Wow. So then she became, she got sepsis, and then she got an infection on her heart, and all of this from chemotherapy drugs that she was put on, which didn't help, which then put her on, unsanitized hook that was put in that didn't help. So really difficult. So kind of just in those kind of situations, it's definitely not just saying take shilajit and that will cure the leukemia, but it's okay. Or there's another one with breast cancer, in a similar one, and it was they were on tamoxifen, which is a chemotherapy drug that you're diagnosed to take for the rest of your life, which is a crazy concept to me. But it's okay. We've found studies where seaweed extracts like sea moss are actually proven to be more effective. Small studies, but they're proven to be more effective. Moringa leaf extract can actually take away some of the negative side effects of tamoxifen, but still help target if you are still taking tamoxifen, it doesn't reduce the efficacy of the drug, but it does take away the side effects. So if we can assist in those type of cases as well, we're not saying get off the drugs, but this is a better way to take the drugs, or this is how we can support the drugs, then those are some of my kind of highest fulfillment kind of contributions where people that really need your help are able to get that support.
I definitely hear more and more from cancer survivors who didn't do chemo and they said they did natural herbs. They listen and watch positive things, a lot of comedy stuff to make them laugh, and just overall positive mindset. And they were able to heal and they're better. I have an aunt who went through chemo and just with it, and a friend who lost her mom last year of cancer and chemo, and the effects that it has on the body where they don't look the same. It's the skin, it looks leathery, it doesn't look the same. And I don't, for me, I don't think that's an overall way of healing. I do think there really is another cure that's possibly out there, but they're never going to give it to us because the pharmaceutical company, that's how they get rich. Um, but I definitely do appreciate that you are helping people become healthier through herbs, through educating them because it's necessary. People don't know and they don't ask questions.
Yeah, just touching on that, I think another cancer related point. I mean, a lot of cancers, when you look at the survival rate, 5-year survival rates, they're kind of 95+% before stage 2. So if a lot of people felt more encouraged to go to the doctors or had that better mind body connection where something's wrong with you and got checked out earlier, it wouldn't need to get to that point where you need the chemo at stage 3 or long courses of chemo at stage 3. So it's I think that's another benefit of going on a more natural healing journey, whether that's herbs, whether that's breathing meditation, whether that's yoga. Just developing that mind body connection, I think, is so important in healing, because if you can self-diagnose early, then if you can catch things early, it's so much easier for that allopathic doctor. What allopathic doctors are good at is immediate intervention. So if you are able to diagnose early, that's where you use the doctors to get the blood test, to get your surgeries if required. And I think that's the better way to do it, as opposed to kind of what we're taught is bury your head under the sand until the symptoms are stopping you from doing what you need to be doing with your day to day. And then it's too late, or you need to be on these debilitating drugs for the rest of your life just to survive.
I definitely agree. After 2 or 3 days, you're still feeling bad, you're still having pain, go to the doctor. Don't wait weeks, months, years until you get to stage 3 and 4 or 5 and it's too late. Definitely go before. But I think in our community, it's the fear of doctors. That's why we don't go. And something that you said, which a lot of people don't realize, the fear of going to doctors or families that go to doctors. And like you mentioned before, it was a medical mishap where somebody did die from unclean, unsanitized equipment. But most of the time, people end up dying because they go to the later stages to the hospital and there's nothing they can do and they die. So I think we get so caught up on, well, they killed my grandmother, they killed my mom, they killed my dad. But at what stage of health were your family members or your friends when they went, which could have been too late to save them?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I think most doctors, most nurses are doing their best. I don't think the objective isn't to prevent. The objective is to cure the symptoms as and when they arise. So I think when you go into it knowing that, then I think you can place your trust a bit more accurately, where I'm not expecting them to tell me how to not get the disease, because that's not what they're trained to do. That's not what they're paid to do. There's other sources to tell me that.
Right. So wanted to show some of the things that I got. So he blessed me with some amazing gifts. So black seed oil. One of my friends said she ordered some from you. Because she was like, I heard about black seed. I don't really know what it does. And I was telling her it's good for inflammation, it's good for constipations and colds. Um, for you, can you kind of talk on what do you recommend to some of your clients that come for black seed oil?
Yeah. So black seed oil is kind of, its roots are in kind of Islam. It's massive in the Islamic community. It's actually written in the Quran. Prophet Muhammad said, well, he said black seed is the cure to every disease except death, which is kind of made it very popular. So in terms of the science to support that, it's rich in antifungals, antimicrobials, antibacterials, healthy polyunsaturated fats as well. What I use it for, or what I recommend clients to use it for, is whenever I'm sick, whenever I feel a sore throat coming on, a teaspoon of black seed oil straight down the throat. And it's scary how quickly it works, to just nip it in the bud quickly. I think like I'm Caribbean, so the Caribbean remedy is lemon, ginger, and a bit of very strong rum. And that's what I kind of grew up on. And yeah, now with all the herbal supplements I use it, that drink is now this weird brown oily looking mix of bit of shilajit, bit of black seed oil, the honey, lemon, ginger, turmeric, bit of blue tea now in there as well. So it's a very strange drink that one looks like now. Tasty though.
All right, so another one which is really popular, which a lot of people buy the gummies for, the roots, because it does help stabilize moods. I've taken the gummies myself and I actually had to stop because it was making me anxious. And I think it's that transition of going from the warehouse, the trucks, the change in temperature, and then back into the store. So I would probably do the tea instead of doing that. I've gotten the tea before and it helps, but I think most people buy the gummies because it's more easy on the go instead of having to take the time to do the tea. But definitely gonna take advantage of that. But I do appreciate all the great gifts and the lion's mane. Can you kind of talk about the lion's mane? Because I don't think a lot of people really know the benefits of what it does.
Sure. Just touching on the ashwagandha before I move on to that, and I suppose the gummies, because we get a lot of questions. Can I take a gummy? Can I take capsules or the raw herbs? But so 3 parts. But yeah, firstly with the ashwagandha, you'll see a lot of stuff on social media saying it numbed my emotions, or girlfriend broke up with me, I didn't even feel it, all this kind of stuff. And I mean that's exaggerated, but where that kind of comes from, there's two different trademark types of ashwagandha extracts. So typically it's the KSM 66 extract that has those kind of side effects. And that's the kind of extract that you tend to find in gummies or tinctures. So with the raw herb, whether that's powdered roots or just the roots as a tea in itself, you tend not to get that the anxious side effects. It's more just a stress relief and energy boost, to be honest. And then with gummies versus raw herbs generally. So my perspective is you just want as little processing as possible in whatever you're eating. The extra processing doesn't help. So if you're to make a gummy of something, you'd have to, if you're using ashwagandha as the example, you would take the ashwagandha, you'd use an ethanol-based extract to extract with aldehydes, or you use a hot water extract, and then you would take that extract and then put it into a gummy, so a sweet. So
Right.
the adding that to the sweet is a really pointless step in terms of the benefits. You're just diluting it with extra sugar in the sweet. So obviously it tastes better and it's easier, but if you're optimizing for the best or most potent product, it's an unnecessary step. Similar with capsules, it's just the reason capsules are popular, unfortunately, because it's an easy excuse to add bulking agents, fillers. Maltodextrin is really popular when we're talking about lion's mane as well. The And that's why we kind of started raw products, because where the market was moving towards kind of all-in-one spray solution, lots of different herbs in one thing, you never really know what's in it or how much of the active ingredient is in it. Whereas if you're putting the ashwagandha roots into the cup yourself, or if you're eating a moringa seed, you can't hide anything into that. You know exactly what you're eating. But yeah, and then touching on lion's mane. So that one is really popular. Mushrooms have boomed in popularity generally in the last few years, but that one's kind of the brain mushroom, it's known as. So stimulates a process called neurogenesis in the hippocampus part of your brain, and that's where responsible for learning, memory, creativity, REM sleep. So it helps to grow new brain nerve connections and brain proteins to support your brain health, and also reduces neuroinflammation, which is a common link with anxiety, depression, and degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's. So yeah, when it comes to brain health, lion's mane is and Brahmi, which is kind of the Ayurvedic herb equivalent, are the ones I'd most recommend for that.
And can you tell people where they can find your products?
Yeah, so magictreesuperfoods.co.uk is the website. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok on magictree_superfoods. And yeah, that's where you find us.
Okay. And is there any product, before we wrap, that you would highly recommend for people, or would they need to have a conversation with you first before coming to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say things like, so if it's like lion's mane is a mushroom, so you can't really eat too much of it. You can't overdose on it really. So something like lion's mane, everyone can benefit from repairing their brain nerves more efficiently. Sea moss, another one. It's kind of that's my kind of wellness one. So nothing specifically, but it will fish out whatever you're deficient in. And if you've got, say, the only way I'd say don't take sea moss is if you've got a really iodine rich diet, because you don't want too much iodine, because it can mess with your thyroid. But if we're talking about 92 trace minerals, so if you've got a magnesium, you've already got enough magnesium and you eat sea moss, all you're going to do is just urinate out the excess magnesium. So as long as you're not eating it by the tub load, you'll be fine. But yeah, the latest one that I've actually discovered and really enjoying right now is blue tea. So it's a butterfly blue tea. So it's a bit like green tea, but blue, but packed with antioxidants. Really good for cellular rejuvenation, so anti-aging benefits, good for your hair, good for your skin, good anti-tumor properties as well. So if it's like starting my day with just a morning beverage, blue tea is kind of another antioxidant. It's got more antioxidants than blueberries, so that tells you kind of the potency of it.
Wow, definitely have to check that one out. Well, thank you again. Give your website again where people can find you, because I think a lot of people would benefit from these products.
Yeah, so it's magictreesuperfoods.co.uk or .com. They both work.
Right. Thank you so much, Leigh, for educating us on herbs and giving a better understanding of what it does, because definitely with gummies and adding the sugar, it is kind of taking the benefits away from what the actual product is supposed to do for us. So thank you for that. Until next time, this is Lejeune, Mind, Health, and Wellness with Lejeune. You can find me on LejeuneSingleton.com. And I am taking 5 women for a week for fitness. So if you're interested, LejeuneSingleton.com.
Thank you.